Hey everyone, it's January 2023 and I've just gone and bought a Triumph Tiger GT, not the GT Pro, the GT, and we're going to talk about my buying experience of that and how much I saved and how much I got for the trade-in and all that good stuff and why I did this, yeah, on the understanding that inflation is so high. So let's get to it. Let's get the video started, and then maybe you can start thinking about upgrading your bike in the best months to buy a new machine, which is really January and February. Let's get to it. Okay, so let's have a think about this. If you think that this video is about a review of the Tiger, that's not what you should be looking for here. This is about the finances I came up with to go and buy a new Triumph Tiger GT on a 72 plate. It's currently January 2023, so it's a 72 plate with 0 miles on it. It's a brand new bike. So myself, a bit about myself. I usually have 2 or 3 motorbikes that I own, but over the past year, on the understanding that over the past year 2022, on the understanding that I felt that we were going into a recession, and we are in a recession really, but it's not been noticed yet, with people going out and buying food at restaurants and they're always full and things like that, and that's okay. I'm not discussing that, but I got rid of some of my stock, and that left me with one bike, which was a 2016 Triumph Bonneville 865. That's the air-cooled version. I had one bike, the Triumph Bonneville, and when I bought that early in 2022, I paid $5,200 for that, and it had got 2,000 miles on the clock. It's one of those toys that a guy has gone and bought and put it in his garage and polished it every weekend and never ridden it. Lots of men do that thing. So I bought this bike, gave it a good service and all that good stuff, and rode it and put about 4,000 miles on that bike over the period of early 2022 to the end of 2022. I had a great time. They're a fantastic bike. I will admit I did try and sell it privately, probably from about September, for starting off 5,500, came down to 5,000, and not a call. And obviously this is probably because people are panicking about their money, and I understand that. So I knew I needed a different bike, because I often ride over in Europe and do tours over in Europe and things like that. And I also intend in 2023 to do my touring. I'm intending doing maybe 2 or 3 trips into Europe, go to the Alps, go to the Pyrenees, Picos de Europa, down into Spain, get a suntan, swim in a pool, all that good stuff, yeah, and enjoy a good laugh with my guys that I go down with, and that's another story, and there'll be future videos on them, but regardless. So I also make decisions quickly. Most of my decisions are good, but I do tend to make them very, very quickly, and that's relevant in this case. So I went in on a particular occasion. I went into Staffordshire, Triumph in near Stoke-on-Trent, and saw a particular bike that had a price of 11,000 or just under 11,600, and this was the Triumph Tiger GT 900. It had been registered. It was registered on the 10th of December 2022, so it was just less than a month old from a registration perspective. It had got 0 miles. It was almost like a pre-registered bike. I'll not go into the details of it. It doesn't matter. It was something that a guy won on a lot what do you call it? God, what do you call them? A raffle. But that's irrelevant. We don't need to talk about that. But it was in effect a pre-registered bike with 0 miles. Because it's in blue, the standard price of that bike is 12,500. Now I do actually think that that price is going to go up, but we'll talk about that later. 12,500. And after a few bits of negotiation, we agreed that the price, the cash price, would be £10,900. So, along with the negotiations, I asked them that they would include a Jivi mono key top box mount, and they're about £150, and they agreed to that. And so the net price that I was going to pay was £10,750. Now, based against the £12,500, that's approximately a 14% saving. That is great. Now, because I like flipping bikes, and because I feel that we're going into a bit of a recession, I thought I'm going to buy this bike and I'm going to keep it for at least 3 years, because I'll not be doing any activities in flipping bikes or buying different bikes over the next 3 years until we're out of this recession. What I think we're going into a recession. So that means for £10,750, I can have a bike which is a 14% saving over the standard 12,500. Now let's talk about the trade-in. The trade-in they offered me against the Bonneville was 4,600, and I thought that was okay. So I actually bought that Bonneville, like I said, for 5,200 just under a year ago, and put 4,000 miles on it. But that's not the total cost of ownership of that bike as yet. So I did do a service on it, and that cost me £30, and that's all I've done to the bike. But over the period, but now, in readiness for 2023, the bike needs to have its brakes, front and rear done. It needs a new set of tyres. It needs a service, and it will need an MOT. And the total cost of that, by me doing it, not by me sending it to a mechanic and doing it, by me doing it, because I know how to use a screwdriver, yeah, is going to be about £420. So, on top of that, there are accessories that on that Triumph Bonneville, which I've taken off, and I will be selling them privately, and they will total up to about £195. So the total price for the Bonneville, from my perspective, is not 4,600, but £5,205. So remove the £5,205 off the 10,750, and we get somewhere in the region of £5,535 debt to pay. So £5,535. I did ask them about 0% finance at Staffordshire Triumph, and that doesn't happen. The best that they could offer me was 9.9%, which I would never touch from a financial perspective. If it's 3% or less, yes, I will touch it, because at 3% it's like having free money. But no, I didn't bother doing that. So I used my cash, which over the past 6 months or whatever has started to lose its value. So I used a bit of cash, £5,535 to buy the bike. £5,535. That's the net amount to buy that bike. Now, over the next year or two, with 10% inflation and things like that, I personally think that the Tiger GT in blue, if they continue to do the GT, I think Triumph are going to drop the GT model. But that's another subject. I don't think, if they continue doing it, I think in a year or two, that Triumph GT, because of the 10% inflation, which is going nowhere, will probably be about 14 to 14,500 pounds. So in 2 or 3 years' time, if I sell it, I'll probably be able to sell it for 10,500, 11,000 pounds in 2 or 3 years' time. Let's wait and see. Let's wait and see. It just depends on how the world is. So that's how it worked for me. I'm losing value in my cash. So that's why I went out and bought this bike, because I may as well use that cash, which is reducing in buying power every month, yes, with everything going up in price and electricity and gas going up in price. I may as well have something that I can use before my money becomes worthless. Hence why I went and bought the bike. The bike is going to be used over the next 3 years for travelling into Europe and general rides at the weekends and things like that. So I do have to put some equipment on it, and that's not expensive. I know a lot of people go for the aluminium boxes and things like that. Not me. When I'm going abroad, I tend to have the soft luggage that's slung over the back seat and things like that. So that's where I am today. One could say, why didn't I go for the GT Pro? Let's just talk about the GT Pro for a second. Now, I know I'm a bit of an old fart, yeah? But there's a few differences between the GT and the GT Pro. The GT Pro has tyre pressure sensors on it. Over 35 years of riding, I've never needed to be notified of tyre pressures, because I've always checked them myself. It also offers the quick shift. I've always been quick shifting for the last 35 years without the clutch, and the only difference between this the quick shift that is offered today and the quick shift that I use over the last 35 years is I just unblip the throttle for just a millisecond before I shift up. I also think that the quick shift is more for sports machines and thrashing around and accelerating fast. I'm 55 now. I don't need that. I don't need to kill myself, and I've no intentions of killing myself on a motorbike. I tend to take it easy and enjoy the ride and just work within the boundaries of the law and the boundaries of common sense. I'll leave popping wheelies and doing 0 to 60 in sub 2 seconds to the other guys. That's got nothing to do with me. It also offers a heated seat. All the wiring and the switches are there for the heated seat on the GT, and I can get one of them off Facebook Marketplace for £200. That's not a problem. So I don't need that. I've never had a heated seat. It'd be nice, but I don't need it yet. And generally speaking, when it's too cold, I'll not bother going out on the bike anyway. I don't need to anymore. I don't need to get to work on a bike when it's -3 degrees. What else? Oh yes, the TFT screen has an additional riding mode for the GT Pro. The TFT screen and all the functions in the GT are just overwhelming. Really, we should really be going to simplicity, not complications with multiple 7 riding modes and that. Nobody does that. 99% of people do not flick from riding mode to riding mode to riding mode. It just doesn't happen. It does not happen. So keep it simple, reduce the price of the vehicle. I'm talking generally now. But, you know, I just don't need that. I'll just stick it on road or rain and then ride accordingly. 35 years of experience have got me through no accidents and just by riding safely. Yeah. What else does it have? It has something else as well. It's got the tyre, it's got the flashy gearbox, quick shift, it's got the TFT, and it's got fog lights. Fog lights. I ain't going to be riding in fog, so I don't need fog lights. Oh, it's also got the setup for the suspension. For me, it's just not necessary. I don't need to be flicking through suspension. I know how to ride a bike based on the suspension that it has. You know, I've been riding for too many years to start tweaking with suspension when I'm off-road or when I'm on-road. It doesn't matter, I'll set it up and just enjoy the ride. If I was competition riding, which I do not, maybe that would make a big difference, but that's, you know, that's my thoughts. So that's why I went for the GT and not the GT Pro. And by the way, the GT Pro was available at Triumph and it was somewhere around £14,000. There's a big difference between £10,750 and £14,000. I hope you learn something from my thinking. The main point here is my money's going down in value, my cash is going down in value, and it's no good in the bank at the moment. I'm not telling you to go and spend your cash. I'm just saying, for me, it wasn't working and I needed to get rid of some cash because it's losing its buying power. And the reason it's losing its buying power is not because we're at 10% inflation, because we're really at 20% inflation. And we all know this, but the government won't say we're at 20% inflation for whatever reason. So the value of my money is going down and the value of your money is going down. And right now is a great time to go out and get a bike and keep it for a few years. So if you've got some spare cash and it's doing nothing and you're worried about it losing value, then go out and go and buy your bike. And of course this applies to cars as well. I'm not too bothered about cars. But you understand what I'm saying. And that's my thinking of why I went out and got a brand new Triumph Tiger 900 GT, which in itself is a fantastic machine. It is absolutely amazing. The TFT designer in Triumph needs to be sacked because I'm guessing that the TFT screen designer loves that film called Tron, and the quality assurance of the designer loves Tron because it looks like it's out of some goddamn spaceship, and the way it shows the revs is just absolutely stupid. I don't know how it got through the board of directors and someone said, yeah, that's a good idea, we'll have that. Yeah, I have got no idea. I'd like to think that there'd be a firmware update in the very near future where you could just have normal clocks on there rather than all this sexy stuff that you just can't understand and read because it's like a video game. Anyway, I hope you found this useful. I know it's been a long video on a simple subject. I'd love to know what your comments and thoughts are. I really would love to know. Put them down below and I will respond to you. I will respond to everyone. And don't forget to subscribe and don't forget to give a like on the video. It really does matter. I am trying to build a channel. I've nearly got 400 subscribers. I need to get to 1,000 and then I can start doing some really good stuff in conjunction with YouTube. Thanks very much for watching this and I will see you very soon. Thank you. Bye bye.